So one of the things that got me to 430 pounds is a major food addiction, emotional, stress eating, binge eating, and really turning to food as my coping mechanism for everything in life. There are things in my past that I haven't dealt with or I hadn't dealt with. The things that were current, stresses that are current, work stress, marital stress, parenthood stress, you name it. Any of those stresses really caused me to eat. I turned to food for everything. I've got a very addictive personality, and I've never really struggled with substance abuse, never really had a big alcohol problem. I did like to drink. Typically, drinking just led me to eating more when I would do it rather than over consuming alcohol. So basically, from the moment I woke up, my thoughts were just completely consumed with food. I was completely addicted to food. And so a lot of times the thought of what was for breakfast was what got me up in the morning, prepared for the day, was the fact that I get to eat breakfast and what is going to be the first thing that I consume. Then on top of that, it was a spiral for me where I would overconsume. Every single time I ate, I overconsumed. I would eat gross amounts of food. Did not matter if I was hungry, didn't matter if I was full. I would continue to eat. I was just so obsessed with it. And I basically would overconsume for breakfast. And then I would feel guilty and I would feel immense amount of shame. Think of any other addiction, maybe an alcoholic addiction or a drug addiction or a pornography addiction, where you partake in the instant gratification and the dopamine hit, and it makes you feel good for a short amount of time. But once you finish that activity and you get the hit of dopamine, you feel guilt and shame. And so that was me with food. And I would overconsume and eat gross amounts of food, and then I would feel guilt and shame. And to deal with those emotions of guilt and shame, I would turn to something that I knew would give me instant gratification and give me an instant hit of dopamine to overcome the guilt and shame, which was food. And I would overconsume. I would feel immense amount of guilt, and then I would go get more food to deal with the emotion of my overconsumption and my addictive behavior.